Hi.
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 Hi. I'm Rexy Pukinikin.
I'm Rexy Pukinikin.
I'm Rexy Pukinikin. And we're balling. And we're balling.
And we're balling.
Today. Tomorrow.
And maybe yesterday.
At what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? Woo!
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. We took our first break. It was very, very necessary since I had a bit of a fever. I partied a little too hard the weekend before. And for the freaking, I was just staying up watching the UFC and boozing a little, and then a little bit was wearing, a questionable limited amount of clothes while it was very cold outside. So I was just not being smart. And then I got a bit of a fever, was sick to the bone, and couldn't get you guys an episode last week. And I feel like it was fine because I put a lot of pressure on myself for keeping a long streak of weekly uploads, and it was just kind of a small little stress that was lifted off my shoulders, because I was really, I thought about it. I wasn't even in the worst state that I was, last Thursday, and Thursday are my upload and record days, and I wasn't even, but it was just like I still had, a runny nose and a cough, so it would have just been not a pleasant, audio experience for anyone. So that's my little personal intro for this week's episode. But now we got 2 weeks of sports we got to report on. So I'm going to see how I can squeeze this all together, and hopefully I'll still give you guys a good recap on what the hell's been going on. And yeah, let's get into it, because we're in the fourth quarter of the season. As Scott Hansen would say, the witching hour of the season. That's a very good way to describe it, because we're coming up on week 16 now out of 18 of the regular season. So this is really when it's the fourth quarter. It's when everything that's important gets decided. So playoff spots have been taken now, and slowly they'll fill up. And now we already have a few teams that have filled in the playoff spots, and they will continue to be filling up the next 3 weeks or so. 3 weeks. Yeah, I think so. 3 weeks to a month. Who knows? Something like that. Mathematics. I don't ever know how realistic, whatever. But it's very interesting, and it's kind of crazy, because this is one of those seasons where a lot of teams are, there's a lot of much more midfield teams than there are, those top dog teams. So there's a lot of teams that have a full realistic potential on making the playoffs. And it's really intense. And let me just fucking get into it. So, top headline, I think, to start it off, and this is a team that's looking very scary, and I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by this team, this organization right now, going into the playoffs and going into the postseason. And we're talking about 49ers, Golden State, San Francisco. Brock Purdy is currently on fire with the team. There is a lot of chemistry. Brock Purdy, infamous for being the last pick of the 2020 draft, 2021 draft. But I know he was last pick. Sorry, I don't keep up with the drafts too much. I ain't gonna lie. But he was infamous for that, and fucking pretty much fourth string quarterback right now, or third string quarterback for the 49ers. Trey Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, like I reported about this too when Trey Lance got hurt. Trey Lance got out, got out. Well, I mean, he got injured. And then Jimmy G came in, and then that one other guy that I can't remember the name of came in for a game or two. And then now Brock Purdy. So, like, literally fourth quarterback that the 49ers play with. And currently they're finding a lot of success. And it's the way they're kind of winning right now, which is kind of scary. All right, so listen. They're 10-4 as of right now, and they clinched the playoff spot in the NFC. Let me get over here to this. So, well, frig it. Let's just NFC. 4 playoff spots have been already taken, so there's 3 more left. The Cowboys, the 49ers, the Vikings, and then the Eagles. So think about it. We have 49ers in third seed right now in the NFC. But like everybody's looking at them like they can pose a big problem for the Vikings, you know, if they ever come face to face, or they're gonna provide some or even the Eagles. It's kind of like the 49ers are so on fire right now, and the way they've been performing, it's like, yeah, we're genuinely a little bit concerned. Week 14, they blow out the Buccaneers 35-7. So, yes, okay, the 49ers defense, that was always the strongest suit of the whole team this year, and kind of what have been carrying the team most of the season, right? Like, most of the season, like, I think only when they got Christian McCaffrey, that's when, like, you know, the 49ers started getting real lit. But, like, before that, it was kind of just like the defense was playing out of their mind because they have legit the best defense in the whole league. Like, impossible to get through. But their offense wasn't, like, that dangerous. But then they freaking get Christian McCaffrey. He's doing crazy things, right, for the offense. And then, bada bing, bada boom, unfortunately, Deebo Samuel gets injured. I think, was it week 13 or something like that? I forgot. I don't think I talked about it, but Deebo Samuel got injured. So, but even with Deebo Samuel injured, Brock Purdy comes in. George Kittle, arguably top 5 tight ends in the league, starts popping off, right? So now they beat the Buccaneers 35-7, which is like, it means a lot because that means their offense isn't here to fuck around either. Like, they'll destroy you defensively, and then after that, they'll drop a couple touchdowns on your ass. You know what I'm saying? And for week 15, the past week, they beat the Seahawks 21-13. I think the Seahawks are legitimately a more well-rounded team than the Buccaneers. So the point differential wasn't as big, but still you can freaking notice that the 49ers just got some good ass momentum right now, and dude, they're posing a threat to the whole NFC right now or in the postseason. I mean, it's very realistic, and it's kind of crazy, like, especially if they start building the offense perfectly around Kittle and McCaffrey. And Deebo Samuel's only out for, like, I think, I don't remember, but I think he's back. He's going to be able to come back for the postseason. So, dude, the 49ers are kind of fucking dangerous and scary right now. And we'll just see how that goes. I have really no comments about the 49ers. I like that they have, like, they're a successful franchise, at least, like, back in the day, And, yeah, dude, they're freaking scary right now. So let's see what they'll get up to in the postseason. All right, we started off with some really positive news and celebrating some successes. Sorry, I got the washing machine on. If you guys can hear it through the mic, I apologize. Gotta do the laundry, I'm sorry. I gotta take care of that business, what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, we started off with a nice positive, news or headline and whatnot. Okay, we're gonna go into a little bit of stuff that's not so nice. So Arizona Cardinals out of the playoff contention. Kyler Murray is injured and out for the season, and doesn't really matter because your team is out for the season pretty much anyways. They end currently they're 4-10. They have quite a matchup ahead with some very decent teams that I personally think they don't. They're going against the Falcons week 17. Yeah, okay, that's like the only one they can pull a miracle off. But even the Falcons, they don't suck right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's just see how it goes. They really need to do a lot of rebuilding, I think, for the offseason. They got to tighten up their defense up. And I think they just got to work on the freaking Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. They just got to work it out. The offensive coach needs to sort those two guys out, and then you'll pretty much be back on track and be a decent team. But not the best season for the Arizona Cardinals, and hopefully they'll be able to make some improvements in the offseason and come back firing in all cylinders next season. Next up, now this is the heartbreaker. This is the it's not going to be easy. Broncos country. We're not riding anymore. We're not riding. Shout out to all the players that gave it their all this season, and currently 4-10. Russell Wilson. Russ is injured. Doubtful to return anymore this regular season, and just wanted to thank those players that gave their 100%, and it was Broncos country. We not riding anymore. It's just it was a tough season. it was a tough season, and I'm sure with the right leadership going into next season, we're gonna make improvements. And this was just this season wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be, ladies and gentlemen. And I started off with the hype, just going off. I love this. I'm not gonna say organization, but I like the team. You guys know how much I love Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson as much as Russell Wilson loves God and Jesus Almighty. And yeah, guys. No more slander. No more slander on Russell Wilson's name. Russell Wilson I am not even fucking gonna, he is gonna have an MVP season in Denver before he fucking retires or anything like that. So just you haters, keep on hating. This man and this organization will prove all of you guys wrong. Yeah. It's just it was a tough one. It was a tough one. Anyways, back into very, very, very good stuff. Positive news. Jaguars, which you guys know I've been very supportive of this season. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, coming off of two strong wins that are really, with these two strong wins, still very, what it does is it's very realistic that they could make some kind of run, make it into the playoffs. They're in the AFC, and AFC, they only have currently 2 secured playoff spots, secured by number 1, the Bills, and number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. But there is still 5 spots open. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different franchises that can possibly make it to the playoff. So with those 2 strong wins, Jaguars are definitely putting themselves in a better place. So the Chiefs and the Bills are 11-3, right? They've secured their spot. Bengals are 10-4, first in the AFC North. They'll probably secure that with a win next week, I think. But after that, if you look at it, there's Tennessee Titans that are 7-7, and Patriots and Jets have the same record, right? But they're just lower in much more. They're lower seed on much more competitive divisions, and then we have Ravens who are 9-5, which is weird, and I don't even know how they've pulled off 9 wins this season. To be honest, I think they're pretty fucking bad as a team. And now Lamar Jackson Jr. is also fucking injured, so what the fuck are we talking about? But Chargers and Dolphins both 8-6, and after this we have Jaguars, Raiders, Browns, and Steelers who oh Jesus, sorry guys. Still a little bit of residuals from the last week's illness, but we have Jaguars, Raiders, Browns, Steelers. They're all 6-8 record, and Jaguars are definitely the top team out of those 6-8 record teams. So it's pretty much if Patriots, Jets, or Titans I don't know. Someone's making noise. Sorry about that, guys. No, it's just the mic. It feels like it's literally the loudest thing ever. Sorry, guys. So sorry. But yeah, anyways, if Titans, I mean, it's just Patriots or Jets if they start losing a little bit, and then Jaguars pick up the rest of the wins. Okay, so basically, strong wins. I'm sorry, guys. This is a week break. I'm not as smooth as I used to be, and there's a lot of distractions right now for some reason. Just getting kind of bad luck with the timing. But anyways, Jaguars coming off of 2 strong wins because week 14, they pulled off a very, very impressive win against the Titans, 36-22, and that was a very impressive win because I think they were actually down for most of the game, and they actually pulled the comeback, and they, beat the Titans at the end of the night with like a convincing lead, and then off of a win against the Titans, they pull off an even more incredible win, and they upset the Dallas Cowboys 40-34 last week. And that was just an amazing fucking win, which I was really, really happy about because fuck the Cowboys. I really don't like the Cowboys, and it's just always fun to see Stephen A. Smith troll the Dallas Cowboys fans every time they take a big L. So they've done that, and seriously, I think Trevor Lawrence, like I've said, they just have offensive weapons. Sometimes I feel like a lot of this season, the losses they've taken, either they've just gone against a really, really strong team with a really strong game plan, or it's just they just somehow couldn't get things going. But I feel like now they've got things really freaking going. Zay Jones looking like a top wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence, and like even in the whole freaking AFC, I think Zay Jones has really been showing out that he could be a top wide receiver there, and Marvin Jones Jr. And I just feel like with Trevor Lawrence's arm and these wide receivers that are more than willing to make a couple of ballsy catches, I don't see why the Jaguars couldn't, pull off something amazing and take wins coming up. I mean, they're going against the Jets next week, and I think I'm going to mention that slightly later. And then they go against the Texans, which is easy win because they're really, really weak. Whoever's making noise, I'm about to fucking seriously destroy them. Oh, and then they go against the Titans. They go against the Titans for Week 18 last week, and they've already beat the Titans. And I think the Titans are just slowing down. So, dude, Jaguars might do it. Jaguars might put themselves into the playoffs. And fingers crossed, because I think they fully deserve it, at least from the AFC. Like, yeah, truly. Yeah, get the Ravens out of the... I don't want to see Ravens fucking make the postseason, dude. They've done nothing fucking impressive this season. Please. All right, anyways. Last headline. And this is one of my favorite headlines that I'm going to talk about. Because it just it just warms my heart up. The almighty golden purple Vikings, Minnesota Vikings, in one Saturday night of football, not Sunday night, not Thursday night, not Monday night football. We're talking Saturday night. In one Saturday night of football, they go down 33-0 against the Colts with 8 minutes and 22 seconds left in the third quarter, and they end up winning off of a game-winning field goal in overtime. They win it 39-36. They completed the largest comeback in NFL history, and they clinched the NFC North and a playoff berth. Like, yo, that is what the fuck is up. Hey, I'm sorry. Kirk Thuggins is back, dude. Kirk Thuggins is so back. I said Kirk Thuggins is like it's done after they got upset at that one time. And my memory's not working, so I can't remember what time it was. But yo, Kirk Thuggins is for reals back. Are you freaking kidding me? I watched the second half when they pulled the comeback. I watched that. That was insanity. And you know what the craziest thing for me was? Like, I genuinely never said it was chalk. Like, I saw, okay, yeah, oh my God, the Colts are so impressive. Look at him, oh my God, look at him go. Look at him pulling the upset. Shut the fuck up. It's just, what are we talking about? I knew the Vikings were just playing sloppy, and they were just making dumb mistakes, and the Colts, I guess, were okay enough to take advantage of those mistakes. But then I was just like, dude, just start slinging it to Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook made one fucking fantastic run that probably kind of was the whole reason why the comeback was, realistic and never out of the picture. It was just, and the fact that they go to overtime, and I think both teams have a drive attempt before the ultimate game-winning drive, where then, the Vikings were able to get into field goal range and win. Dude, never doubt. Yeah. The Vikings were just Kirk Thuggins is him. And really, you just don't want to mess with the Vikings. Okay. You don't want to mess with the Vikings at all. Number 2 in the NFC. 11-3 currently. Let's see who they're going up against. And I think we can... Yeah, they're going against the Packers. Oh, shit. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Sorry. I've concluded that I'm always going to fucking keep on yawning when I'm recording these podcasts if it's fucking dark outside. And it's going to be dark outside for at least, I think, another 4-5 episodes, give or take, at least, So, but just bear with me. Yawning doesn't mean I'm fucking bored. It just means that, Jesus fucking Christ, please, I am dying of vitamin D malnutrition. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, okay, they go against the Vikings. They go against the Giants this upcoming week that I'll just talk about soon. They go against Packers for week 17, and I think they go against the Packers week 18 too. Am I tripping? No. Yeah, I am tripping. They play against the Packers week 17, and then week 18, the last regular season game, they go against the Bears. So, I think that's fine. Honestly, when you clinch a playoff berth, it's almost just like you want to play against good teams. So you get the practice for it going into the postseason, the experience. But yeah, I think they have relatively easy breezy rest of the regular season, and they just got to put themselves in a good place going into the postseason. You know what I'm saying? And just truly magnificent that Matt Ryan has been now been part of the biggest comeback in regular season NFL football game and then also Super Bowl. It's just a shame for Matt Ryan. But I think the Colts fully deserved it, because they suck. And it's kind of funny. It's very ironic that their head coach is Jeff Saturday. And on Saturday night of football, which is a rarity in the NFL, he ends up fucking just not living up to his surname whatsoever. Kirk Thuggins, Justin Jefferson, Golden Purple. Let's go. Skull Nation. All right. Anyways, matchups to watch going into Week 16. We have the Jaguars versus Jets. This is the first matchup that I want to talk about. Gonna be competitive. Gonna be real nice and competitive. And like I said, these are two teams that are on the bubble, just outside currently of the playoff bubble, but both could very well make it into the bubble, into the playoff bubble. Not impossible at all. So a lot. Stakes are high for this game. That's for sure. And I think it's going to be very competitive. Like I said, the Jaguars' offense heavily rely on the throwing game to their wide receivers. And we all know that New York Jets have good, very impressive cornerbacks. I've said this man's name before, but I'll say it again. Sauce Gardner, rookie cornerback in New York Jets, just playing like an absolute freaking... He's playing like a Hall of Famer, if you ask me. But just playing out of his mind. And like I said, I've been praising Zay Jones as well, the wide receiver of the Jags. So let's see how this wide receiver cornerback matchup goes, and how this offense goes as well. I mean, yeah, Zach Wilson is back. I hope Zach Wilson has taken a hard look in the mirror and told himself that he's got to be a little bit sharper in his decision making. And that's about it. Anyways, that'll be a competitive matchup, and I don't know. I think the Jaguars are going to take it, and it's just because they have the momentum on their side right now. This is one where it's like I kind of want to make a take just for making the take, but I'm not going to be disappointed at all if either team wins or either team loses. Something like that. But yeah. Let's see. Stakes are going to be high. I'm going to be tuning in. Next up, Giants versus Vikings. This is going to be very competitive too, because as you know, Vikings don't even have the strongest defense. It's one of the reasons why they went down 33-0 against the Colts. Vikings definitely have holes in their defense, and one of those holes in the defense is that they cannot mess around with running backs. Running backs take advantage of the Vikings defense often, and that's why I actually think that Giants versus Vikings. The Giants are 8-5. Vikings are 11-3, both in the NFC, and I think Giants are gonna upset the Vikings. I think Saquon Barkley is gonna freaking pop off. I have a feeling that this is one of those games that he's gonna pop off. He's gonna find those holes in the Vikings defense that allow some offenses to completely blow them out. and I think the Giants defense will just do enough to lock up the Vikings offense. So, competitive. Will it be competitive? Yes, I think so. At least records-wise, they're both top of the NFC, or both very likely to continue off into the postseason. So, yeah, let's just see how it goes. I think Giants will upset. I think Saquon Barkley will upset, but let's see if that actually happens. Next one. And this one's going to be a crazy one. But once again, I have this feeling. The other day I looked up in the sky and then I just saw a couple stars, and then I swear it almost said like Texans are gonna win. I saw the friggin' stars in line. I was just like, oh no, that's no. It was like the Texans freaking, the logo of the freaking like bull or whatever the fuck it is, and I was just like, oh, okay, I can feel it, and the Texans are going against the Titans, and I think this is gonna be an upset. I know the Texans only have one win this regular season and a shit ton of losses, but guys, first of all, Texans the past few weeks, 14 and 15. Excuse me, but week 14, they lose to the Cowboys 23-27. The Texans were leading most of that game. Everybody thought Cowboys were literally about to chalk it, like super fucking hard. But then luckily Cowboys pull off the win, right? Okay. That's week 14. Week 15, Texans go against the fucking top team of the goddamn AFC, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were freaking leading against the Chiefs, and they ended up losing 30-24. So what we've had is 2 weeks in a row where they've played very freaking decent teams, right? Very strong teams, and yes, they didn't pull off the win, they didn't secure the win, but they've definitely scared those teams. And coming into this week, they're going against the Titans. And I personally think if they're going to get that win that they should have gone the past 2 weeks, I think they're going to get it against the Titans. I don't think the Titans have been that decent as of late. I don't think they've been decent this whole season. Very similar to the Ravens. I don't even know how the fuck they're in, in a place to make the playoffs. But I just really think that Texans are going to come in and do the same thing they've done the past few weeks, where they've just like started off hot, but this time the Titans just suck that little bit more, that they can't pull the comeback, and Texans are just going to ride the momentum and pull the win off and then pull the upset. So I genuinely think Texans, they're going to be upsetting this weekend, getting finally a second win under their belt this regular season, Not that it's going to matter too much. It's going to matter for the Titans. But yeah, I feel it happening. I really, really do. So good luck for the Texans, and Titans, do me a favor and be shitty. Thank you. Anyways, last little just teeny tiny matchup that I want to mention going into week 16. Eagles versus Cowboys. I don't think I have to explain why this is a nice matchup to keep an eye on. We have the number 1 seed of the NFC, number 1 in the NFC East, going against the number 2 of the NFC East. Eagles are number 1 in the whole playoff spots in the NFC, and then Cowboys are 4th, but the Cowboys actually have secured a playoff berth, like I mentioned. So what is going to happen is it's going to be a very, very competitive matchup in the sense that I think there's a lot of, I think it's high stakes. I think if the Eagles take a loss, well, first of all, if the Eagles lose, it's not going to cost them that much. Actually, you know what? It's high stakes, but this game is going to be very beneficial for Eagles, because even if the Eagles lose, they're already into the playoffs. They're already number 1 in the NFC, and they'll be able to make those, or they'll realize, like, before going into the postseason where it actually matters, they'll be able to fix those, whatever they do wrong if they end up losing. But I think for Cowboys, it's a little different because, it's the fucking Cowboys. Like, they're like, holy shit, we made it to such a good position, even though we kind of suck. But then now we're really going to get exposed for how bad we suck. And, like, how are we going to be able to improve with just, like, less than fucking, a month or two, and that we got to fucking somehow beat all of these guys and, make it to the Super Bowl. So, either way, I think it is going to be competitive. The Cowboys have been running like crazy. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, they've been doing some pretty extravagant things that have been solidifying the offense of the Cowboys a little bit more. And then Eagles, they're just a whole freaking unit to be scared of. There's if the defense plays bad, the offense plays good. If the offense plays bad, the defense plays good. They work as a full freaking team, one organism that are just trying to destroy and win. So either way, it's going to be a competitive matchup. I at least hope so. I don't really wish there to be a blowout at all, and I don't think there will be. I think both offenses, this is a good offensive matchup in my opinion. It just gives us that picture of how the NFC playoffs is going to go. So, not the highest of stakes, like I kind of said stupidly, but I think it's going to be an important matchup though. But that's all there is to talk about for the NFL. The past 2 weeks and the week coming up ahead. Hopefully I didn't blabber too much. I think I got the most important points out, and just very, very excited because a lot of things are shaping up now. Like finally, like completely, This is we're getting in the home stretch, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's get into UFC. No more fights for the rest of the year. Next fight is going to be January 14th, I think, and it's just going to be a fight night. But I feel like it was appropriate to take the time now, do a little top 5, do a little pound for pound, headshot, dead, 2022 UFC recap, because it's, I think it was a very, very good year for UFC. I think there was a lot of action, and definitely very insane storylines, quite a lot of drama, a lot of chaos, a lot of violence, beautiful violence, like I always say. But I'm going to give a little top 5, one honorable mention, and I'm going to name the order, or I'm going to rank them at the end when I've gone through all the events. But right now, I'll go by just chronological order. Yeah. So we'll start off UFC 273. And it included what could be definitely, in the top 5 or top 3 fight of the year, which was Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. Those two men went in for an absolute war, and everybody praised the fight like crazy because everybody was surprised by how much Gilbert Burns was able to just show his, warrior spirit, just not get completely intimidated and swallowed by Khamzat Chimaev's power. And also, this was kind of like a big eye-opener for Khamzat Chimaev and his fans, because now, even though Khamzat Chimaev won the fight, it was the first fight where everyone understood that, Khamzat Chimaev isn't always gonna just maul people like he says. Like, he can actually go through diversity, which is, I think, very important. I think it would have gotten pretty darn boring if Khamzat Chimaev was just, literally running through everyone. And I think that's the one thing everyone, has to realize. Just that, if there's this up-and-coming guy who's been destroying everyone, there's levels. There's genuine levels in this UFC fight game, MMA game, so that when you're at a level that is higher to everyone, and then you freaking finally go into the realm of the other, like the next level, and it catches you off guard. But what that did for Khamzat Chimaev was produce one of the best fights of the year. So that was just truly amazing to watch. And shout out to those men for giving it all in that cage that evening. I think the co-main event was Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan 2. And even though it went down to a split decision to Aljamain Sterling, I think this performance really solidified Sterling as a legitimate bantamweight champion. Because the first fight, it was Petr Yan lost because of a disqualification. So the fact that this time Aljamain Sterling beat Petr Yan fair and square, solidified the Funk Master as a real, legit bantamweight champion, and just champion overall. And then the main event, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie. And the Korean Zombie, this was a title fight for the featherweight belt, and I think this was a really important fight because it kind of showed you just how freaking good Alexander Volkanovski is. I think in this performance, it really showed. It was because Alexander Volkanovski beat Korean Zombie at his own game, at the striking game. Korean Zombie is such a dangerous striker and a versatile striker, and the fact that Alexander Volkanovski went into that ring or octagon, and literally beat the crap out of Korean Zombie. That was one of the craziest beatdowns I've ever seen. Personally, I think it was just genuinely like, a Korean Zombie. He lives up to his name. You can't put him down. He keeps on pressing forward, but it was just brutal the way Alexander just cut him up and was barely touched by a Korean Zombie. It was just, the movement was fucking just beautiful to watch. So that was UFC 273, which I think was top 5 of the year. Next one, literally the next unnumbered event, UFC 274, I think gets a top 5 placement because we have Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. Even though I have let you guys know how heartbreaking it was for me, but it was one of the most spectacular knockouts of the year. Michael Chandler with a front kick to the freaking face of Tony Ferguson, puts him out cold. And this is after Tony Ferguson did a little something too. It wasn't like it was a complete beatdown by Michael Chandler. It was Tony Ferguson came in firing from all cylinders, and Michael Chandler just ended up landing the shot that went viral. So that was in the main card. Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas. I think this was the second time they were matching up. Carla was fighting for the belt against Rose, who was the champion. And yes, it was a boring fight. Yes, it was not as exciting as the other fights for that belt that year. But it was good to mention. It was the co-main event at the end of the day, and Carla Esparza was able to become champion once again, I think. Yeah, because I think she was the first champion of that division. Anyways, next up, the freaking main event of UFC 274 was Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. And this was just an insane one because Justin Gaethje is a very dangerous dude with just sledgehammers, and what we got was just another Charles Oliveira freaking masterclass, where Charles really proved he was on another level in the lightweight division and defended his belt once again, which was so legendary, and he just showed why he is genuinely one of the best lightweight fighters of all time. And that was UFC 274. Next up, I have UFC 275. I think the 3 events in a row that were just fucking beautiful. Shout out to the UFC because I tuned in for all of them and they did not disappoint. But UFC 275, we have Jung Wei Lee versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And it's so difficult to pronounce that name. But that one was just awesome because it was just a Jung Wei Lee freaking master class, spinning back fist, or was it back elbow on Joanna, knocks her out. I swear it was, she retires her because, Joanna is doing really well business-wise. But with that knockout, Jung Wei Lee gets herself, solidifies herself basically for another title shot once again to retain her belt. And just a freaking masterclass performance. Next up, the Valentina Shevchenko versus Taila Santos. And this was very, very surprising because we got a fight that was insanely close and much closer than a lot of people expected. Valentina Shevchenko has been such a dominant champion that we thought that it was going to be another dominant performance, but Taila Santos came in and it got scrappy. And some people actually judged it to Santos to win the fight, but Valentina Shevchenko won by split decision at the end of the night, and just beautiful to see two women's fights that were very, very fucking competitive and just very exciting. And that all led up to the main event, which was Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira fighting for the light heavyweight belt. And this is also arguably fight of the year. Definitely going to be a fight of the year nominee because these men went to war for 5 rounds. And at the end of 5 rounds, it didn't go all the way. The end of the last round, Yuri Prochazka was able to get a rear naked choke on Glover Teixeira. I think it was the last minute of the 5th round, and just insane fight where light heavyweights, these guys are big, heavy. They were definitely throwing it all out there, and Yuri Prochazka was able to claim the belt for himself, and just wonderful. And it was still crazy to see that Glover Teixeira could bang, because I think a lot of people were counting Glover Teixeira out in the sense that Yuri Prochazka, he's so darn dangerous. He's just going to run through Glover, and Glover is so, yes, okay, he already proved the haters wrong by getting the belt back the age that he is. But I think the general consensus was that, no, here comes Yuri Prochazka, and he's going to get the belt easy, no problem. But no, instead, Glover defended like a lion. Unfortunately, couldn't defend all 5 rounds all the way. But either way, thank you both gentlemen for just giving us one of the fights of the year, and it was just awesome to watch. Next up, this is the honorable mention. This I am not putting in my top 5, but UFC 278. We had Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold. 2 jacked, handsome men going against each other. Luke Rockhold gets bloodied up, rubs his blood all over Paulo Costa's beautiful face. 2 beautiful men getting very violent, and that was very, very entertaining. And for the last event of the evening, we had Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. And we don't have to say more. Knockout of the year. I think it was definitely knockout of the year. Leon Edwards, 5th round, lands a picture-perfect kick on Kamaru Usman that knocks the champ out. And Leon Edwards pronounced the new welterweight champion of the world. And just picture-perfect knockout. And what a storyline, and just the whole moment of it was just so spectacular and one of the craziest knockouts ever. So, honorable mention for UFC 278. Next up, UFC 280. This was in the top 5 as well. Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan. Possibly the 3rd round was possibly one of the round of the year nominees. Both men definitely gave it their absolute all. Sean O'Malley, this was the first proper. This was, I think, and a lot of fans are gonna agree. This was the first proper test that Sean O'Malley or opponent wise that he had to go up against, and Petr Yan everybody knows how much of a killer it is. I think matchup-wise, it was favoring O'Malley because, just because of the size and all that. But everybody knows that Petr Yan is incredibly dangerous, and we actually got to see how dangerous Sean O'Malley is, like when he is there 100% and not just like trying to, or he understood that there is an opponent posing a real threat, so he wasn't like, mid-round doing any showboating stuff. It was literally just two men fighting for the win, and even though a bit controversial, I think, no, I don't think, actually. A lot of the audience thinks that it was a bit controversial, the decision to O'Malley for the win. I still think it was just a wonderful fight, and it could have gone either way. And co-main event, we have Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw for the bantamweight division title, and another just masterclass from Aljamain Sterling. Pretty much dominates TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw was injured going into this fight, but I mean, what can you do? I still think that it was a very legit performance from Aljamain Sterling, and just further solidifies him as a very legitimate champion. And he has been now on top of bantamweight division for over a year now. So congratulations to him. And that was just a very dominant performance by the Funk Master. And main event, we have Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. And this was for the lightweight belt. Charles Oliveira, I think, wrongfully came in as a underdog in this fight. And it was just because, yes, Islam Makhachev is that freaking good, and Islam showed it in this fight, that he is not to be messed around with. His strength is just brutal. Those Dagestani guys just have like that extra strength that is pretty much it's very hard to beat. And Charles Oliveira, even though he is a master of grappling and jiu-jitsu, and genuinely, I think, one of the best jiu-jitsu artists in UFC history, the strength that Islam has just overpowered Charles, and Islam ends up winning, taking the lightweight division title away from Charles Oliveira, even though Charles Oliveira, I think, had one of the most impressive title defensive runs of all time in the UFC. Islam was the person that took the man down, and just a crazy turn of events for the lightweight division and for the lightweight title. So that was UFC 280. And lastly, we have UFC 281, starting off with Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Another, in my opinion, fight of the year contenders, nominees. Both men, I said it, I cannot stress this enough. I said this loud and clear. This was going to be a freaking war, and we got it. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. They go back and forth, and they both just absolutely give it their all. Dustin Poirier ends up winning against Michael Chandler, but, like I've also said before, Michael Chandler giving these awesome performances for the audience and for the fans and everyone, it just makes his stock rise up even though he's lost more than he's won in the UFC ever since coming from Bellator. It's just everyone has so much respect for Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier too, of course. And just crazy fight that I was freaking out about when I was watching it. Next up, Zhang Weili versus Carla Esparza. This is Zhang Weili, basically her last step of her revenge tour. Finally gets another title shot, and versus Carla Esparza as well. Not Rose anymore, a different champion, and just a masterclass. I think once again, Zhang Weili, I think now she's going to enter another level of just defending the title where it's going to be very hard to take her off the throne. And I'm just so happy. I love her. I'm such a big fan. Let's freaking go China. Chinese champ. I freaking love to see that shit. So shout out Zhang Weili. I think she's had an awesome year this year, and she's definitely a female fighter of the year, in my opinion. And lastly, we have the main event, which was Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. Arguably one of the best storylines of this year. Alex Pereira, the only man to beat the, pretty much undisputed champion, middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya, who's been defending the belt like no other. And he's claimed that division for himself. And Alex Pereira, the only man to beat Israel Adesanya before, comes in and ends up getting the best of Israel Adesanya on the last round of on the fifth round, last round of the fight. Was able to rock him with that left hook of his. And I'm going to say UFC 281, my favorite UFC event of the year. That was number one. Coming in at number two, I think it was UFC 275. The Yuri Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira fight was just too insane to not put it anywhere else. Number three, I have UFC 273. I just think the Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns fight and the two very exciting, title fights as well afterwards just fully takes the cake, and they get a number three placing. Number four, I have Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw, Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. I think that was just a really good event in Abu Dhabi once again, and just Islam Makhachev kind of having the home court advantage, and that's where he kind of has the support of the fans and beats Charles Oliveira, and just a crazy lightweight title decider. And number five, I have UFC 274, Michael Chandler, front kick, Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. Oliveira defending like a champion. That was number five. So that was my top five of the freaking year UFC. It was been a great year, and I just can't wait for next year. I can't wait for next year. They announced UFC London, next year's UFC London, which is actually going to be UFC 286. I am going to do everything in my power to go there. I have to fucking see it. I have to be there in person. It's my best chance to see a title fight, UFC title fight, and I'm going to go. I'm there for the pre-sale tickets, all of it. All right, so I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited for UFC in 2023. Anyways, let's lastly going into the NBA. I've skipped out on the NBA a little bit now, but I'm going to be back just because I want to mention some awesome stuff that's been going on, and it's definitely just good to go back and see what's been going on. I want to say this. just because he's my homeboy and he's currently playing like at least he should be definitely winning the most improved player. But Lauri Markkanen is still completely on one. He was injured for a couple weeks, I think. Comes back firing all cylinders, on top of his game. Versus Pistons, I think 2 nights ago, drops 38 points, shooting 13 out of 20 field goal wise. So that's a disgusting percentage. I think that's 65% or something like that. And then that's 9 out of 13 attempts from 3-point line, which is, I think, like 69%, just about almost 70% if you want to round it up. This guy is insane, dude. This is insane. I don't know. I feel like he needs to. He's been getting talked about, but I feel like he deserves to get talked about even more because he's doing some like real Steph Curry shit. Like the stats that I just told you. He's shooting 69% from 3. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, are you kidding me? Like, are we joking around here? This guy's insane. Him and Jordan Clarkson have been balling out in Utah for the Jazz, and I'm praising this man like a god because he really is. All he needed to do was to get his white ass into a nice Mormon Christian fucking place, and now he's playing out of his mind. Like, whoa, who are we kidding here? This guy's the GOAT. Finland's raving about him. I'm raving about him. This guy's the fucking GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I have to say. Next up, Kyrie Irving gets a game winner in Toronto against the Raptors themselves. Great. Just wonderful to see Kyrie back. He's still a little bit on and off. I know he's been sitting out now for a few games, but he at least hit this game winner. I think it was about a week ago. And he still got it. He's definitely still got it. And I'll mention the Nets a little bit later. Next up, Devin Book, wet like I'm Book, 58 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 21 out of 35 from field goals. Comeback win against the Pelicans a week ago. The Suns, definitely, I feel like the Suns kind of are just a little bit iffy still, in the West. A little bit iffy, I think, especially with I don't know. I really don't like DeAndre Ayton, dude. Like, I'm not like, I really don't have like, I don't want to be negative against players, but I just feel like DeAndre Ayton is a bit of a diva. And if he was a bit of a less of a diva, I feel like internally at least the team would be having a lot less problems. But I feel like he's the root of a lot of those problems. That's why I wouldn't even say that Suns are like a strong team in the West as of now. They can turn it around, but this is a little bit weird. But at least Devin Booker's still got it. He's still got it. That's no problem. Okay, I'm not stressing that much about the Suns because I really like the Suns. I really like the Suns. Next up, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's how I'm going to pronounce his name. Buzzer beater against the Trailblazers. This guy has been playing out of his mind this season. A lot of people also want to put him up on the most improved player list, and he fully deserves to be there. He plays like a very important team player. He gets those assists. He gets those rebounds. He gets those points. And he's just been on a breakout year now and kind of carrying the Thunder on his back. Kind of doing that. and just I love myself a buzzer beater. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, going into the Western Conference, little recap here, if you will. The New York Pelicans, currently slight losers of the Western Conference. They're on a 4-game losing streak, and 4-game losing streak, but still not that bad. 6-4 their last 10 games, so they've just kind of went on a bad streak. But Pelicans, it's kind of crazy. The whole Western Conference is just so bunched up together, because if you look at, between first and 8th seed, let's just say, they all have at least 17 wins. But then Trailblazers and Kings, they have the least amount of wins with 17 wins, right? But then the most wins someone has between 1st and 8th seed is 19 wins. So they're really, really bunched up together. The losses are the ones that kind of decide it, the friggin' PCT, whatever it is. Let me click on it. What is it called? PCT, winning percentage. Right. Sorry about that. But it's just kind of crazy. The Western Conference is a bit hectic. And actually, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're the kind of winners of the Western Conference lately. 3-game winning streak, 6-4 their last 10 games. And we're talking about team that started off definitely much weaker, but right now they're at 16 wins and 16 losses. That doesn't look even that bad compared to first seed, which is the Nuggets right now, who are 19 wins and 11 losses. So they're only 3 wins behind the first seed, and they've just taken a bit more losses. So Western Conference is definitely going to be super, super hectic. Pretty much the only teams that are struggling so hard that is going to be hard to catch up is the Spurs and the Rockets, who are sitting at the bottom 2. But otherwise, even the Lakers, they're bottom 3, but they have 13 wins compared to the Denver Nuggets 19. So that's not that crazy of a difference. So that's how the Western Conference is looking like, a lot more chaotic. But if we go over to the East, the beast from the East, so we have the Wild West, everything's fucking wild. But then now we have Beast of the East, because in the East we have some beasts that kind of top the division, and then the rest kind of have to figure it out themselves. Toronto Raptors currently on a 6-game losing streak. 2-8 their last 10 games, so they've definitely been struggling lately. Actually, they just updated. They finally took a win now, so that at least that didn't extend to 7-game losing streak, but still 3-7 their last 10 games is the updated stat. And I think they fell from being in the top 5 seed, and currently they are in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 10th seed actually in the East. So they kind of have to get some stuff going back up if they want to make the playoffs. And biggest winner in the East is winner chicken steak dinner is the New York Knicks. They're currently, or as of yesterday, they were on a 8-game winning streak, and 8-2 their last 10 games. Unfortunately, took a loss last night, but still 8-2 their last 10 games. Very impressive. I remember when they were I think they were below 10th seed at one point. They've been winning now. I think they've been picking up on some pace. And actually, a little updated, now a big winner we have that I wanted to mention is the Brooklyn Nets. 7-game win streak right now, 9-1 their last 10 games. They have been winning very convincingly. They were up 40 points, dropping 91 by halftime against the Golden State Warriors last night. Durant has been playing out of his mind like he is expected to do, but he is doing that now. And Brooklyn Nets up there in fourth seed, but the way they're looking right now, they're one of the beasts of the East. The Nets, the Cavaliers, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, those guys are stronger, and I feel like as of right now, those 4 teams are on a different level compared to the rest in the East. And it's getting kind of, I like this. I like this a lot. There is a clear difference between the East and the West, and that just means that whenever the Western Conference dudes match up against the top teams of the East, then you can gain a lot of perspective from that. And every time the Western Conference guys goes against any of the top teams from the East, then it's dangerous. Anything can happen. So NBA looking very exciting right now. I'm tuning in more and more because I got to get ready so that when the NFL's done, I'm going to be tuning into NBA all the time. I know by then it will be definitely like more than halfway through the regular season. But, dude, very, very freaking cool. But that's all I had to say. Thank you guys for freaking tuning in. Sorry about the week break that I took, but it was very, very necessary. I'm going to be tuning in this Christmas for the Christmas games. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas. I'm excited for the vibes, for the gifts, for the food, to spend that awesome time with the family. And I hope you guys are going to be too. Everybody have a blessed Christmas. Everybody have a great time enjoying some sports during Christmas time. And I'll see you guys next week. One more episode before the new year flips over. We're ballin'.